Their VAT, and so we saw that a VAT did not help Europe's fiscal problems at all.
Yuri, what's really going on here, though? Because country after country, certainly in Europe, is recognizing the error of its ways in the past. Greece, of course, Romania, they're all trying to clamp down. And here we have a president not too long ago writing this letter to a bunch of them saying, well, maybe not so fast. You know, keep the stimulus coming because you take it away too soon, problems could mount.
Neil, I'm absolutely terrified of the current situation, from the bottom of my heart, especially after I listened to this last presidential speech. With all due respect, it just made me feel like our government has absolutely no plan and no strategy to get us out of this mess. And if you listen to the tone of our friends overseas in Britain, you can hear their voices are ones of emergency. They're talking about an emergency budget. And our government here is saying, let's wait till December. Maybe by then we'll think of some sort of plan, fiscal commission that's going to get together and think of something to get us through this trouble. And I'm very fearful. I'm afraid that this country is going to end up like Greece, Spain, and Portugal. And, I'm not talking about the World Cup. I'm talking about really a complete disaster, an end to our way of life.
Caroline, the administration would no doubt point to concern about home sales, which we're going to be getting into, and some of these other items as signs that don't take away that stimulus priming pump too soon, that there's still work to be done. The economy is still bumpy. We still need to keep it primed. What do you say?
I would very much agree. I think that the UK is making a big mistake in doing this too soon and potentially will thrust them into a double-dip recession, which will be terrible long-term for the deficit and the debt. And in addition to that, they're doing something very different than what Maggie Thatcher did in the 1980s, which is balancing the deficit reduction on the backs of the poor. So most of these cuts are cuts to social services, while at the same time they're reducing business tax with the assumption that the private market is going to step in and pick up where the public market is pulling out. And we know that's not the case.
But how long are we going to spend? How long are we going to spend? We're going to keep spending and spending. It just seems totally unreasonable. And you're not correct about that. They're not cutting health care, for example. They're cutting 25% of their budget, but they're leaving out health care. Yeah, so and that is one of the big issues for the poor.
And Margaret Thatcher's legacy, Neil, was to privatize, which is what Greece is doing now. She went in reverse. She started privatizing a lot of government-owned entities. And so that was the hallmark of her legacy.
Jonathan?
And look at the currencies. Neil, we always say the markets never lie. The more England, the more UK has stimulated, the more they've spent, the lower and lower the value of that pound has gone. You've seen it with the euro as well. Ironically, we here at home have been the beneficiary of that. But if we spend like them, I fear that our currency is going to end up just like theirs.
All right, hang on here, guys. We're going to have you back. We're going to have you back later in the show, I promise. In the meantime, when the White House's housing efforts fall flat and home sales just fall, we've got real estate attorney Stephen Meister on